Hello, Realtors, and welcome to the SCR Update. This is episode 367. It is September the 8th, and welcome to your go-to source for what's happening in the world of real estate and how it impacts you and your business. As always, I'm your host, Nick Kremydas, CEO of South Carolina Realtors, and today I've got quite a bit of Washington, D.C. news to share with you. Now, before you go turn this off, and I know there's a lot of animosity and anger pointed toward Congress these days, but we do have a little bit of bipartisan support on a couple of housing initiatives that I wanted to share with you. So first, let's talk about the Senate committee that unanimously passed the bipartisan Road to Housing Act. Now, the Senate committee unanimously passed this bipartisan bill in committee markup just a few days ago. This legislation represents a comprehensive federal response to housing challenges, targeting barriers that have made it increasingly difficult for families to achieve home ownership. With housing costs consuming an ever larger share of family budgets across the nation, the bill offers a multi-pronged approach to increasing supply, reducing barriers to development, and creating new pathways to home ownership. It really is refreshing, Realtors, to see Congress really laser focused in on what is happening, this crisis that's happening in housing all across our country. Now, the Road to Housing Act includes provisions designed to meet America's diverse housing needs. So a couple of highlights to take away from this. So the bill helps cut red tape and helps build more homes. It helps communities overcome zoning and other barriers, streamlines environmental reviews for housing projects, and creates grants for communities that build more homes. It also opens the door to home ownership for more families. It removes barriers that make it harder to get smaller mortgages, improves the home appraisal process, which helps families save for homes, and a real focus here on veterans so that they understand and know what their home loan benefits are. In supporting housing innovation, new ideas, these rules update the structure for financing and manufactured and modular homes, and encourages new building techniques that can help make housing more affordable. It also, there's a section in the bill that permanently authorizes disaster recovery efforts to help communities rebuild, while incorporating resilience measures to reduce repetitive losses and maintain insurability. Y'all have often heard me say, when I'm asked, what is the one issue that kind of keeps me awake at night? What do I worry about for South Carolina real estate? And it has to do with insurance. And if we're able to build better homes to withstand these natural events, now there's a cost associated with that we have to be very concerned and very transparent about. But if this government effort can help lead to that and provide some relief for homeowners, and home builders, this could be a tremendous win for new home buyers. Now, our National Association sent a letter of strong support for the bill. Now, the ranking committee chairperson is South Carolina's own Tim Scott, and the ranking member is Democrat Elizabeth Warren. So we got Republican Tim Scott, Democrat Elizabeth Warren that have partnered on this legislation, making it one of the rare, I shouldn't say rare, maybe these days it's more unusual to see such strong bipartisan support. And we've always said, real estate is not a partisan issue. And this legislation, I think, proves that point for us. NAR, in their letter, commended their leadership in crafting this landmark comprehensive piece of legislation that addresses the full spectrum of housing needs while prioritizing pathways to home ownership for American families. NAR previously endorsed many of these provisions as standalone measures, in separate, there were lots of separate bills dealing with these things. And putting it all together in one kind of omnibus bill is going to help address the nation's housing challenges. Now, the bill moves on to the full Senate for consideration, but I think the unanimous committee vote demonstrates just how strong the bipartisan support is and bodes well for the legislation's next steps as it goes through the process. So another issue that is building some momentum is capital gains. And we've talked about this before, but I wanted to kind of hit this nail again, because as we look ahead toward the next, this fall session of Congress, there's a lot of bipartisan interest that's picking up to reform capital gains. Now, as you know, the current gains exclusion limits were set in 1997 and have never been adjusted for inflation, even though median home prices have nearly tripled since then. NAR's research shows that nearly 29 million homeowners, roughly 1/3 of the entire market, already face potential capital gains taxes if they sell. And that number is expected to climb sharply over the next 10 years as we continue to see this escalation of housing prices and costs. Thanks to NAR's research and public awareness campaign, highlighting what we have termed a home equity tax on the middle class, the media is now reporting on the urgent need to modernize the gains exclusion to fuel mobility, get people out of that lock-in mentality, and increase the supply in the housing market. NAR's work even has helped inspire new legislation on the issue, and the administration has also thrown their support behind the idea. There are two critical pieces of legislation on capital gains right now: the More Homes on the Market Act, which would double the current exclusion limits and also index them to inflation, which I think is critical going forward, and the No Tax on Home Sales Act, which would eliminate the capital gains tax on the sale of primary residences entirely. I don't think there's going to be enough support to eliminate it, although that would definitely be a pretty cool outcome to this. But I do think that we will get these exclusions increased. There seems to be a lot of support for it. NAR has one of the best realtor advocacy podcasts out there. It's called The Advocacy Scoop. NAR's chief lobbyist, Shannon McGann, dives into these capital gain proposals and discusses other pro-housing policies. Please check it out on your favorite podcast platform. So I also want to just advertise real quick, a quick promo. A lot of what happens in our industry is impacted by local government initiatives, whether it's a sign ordinance, a tree ordinance, a new land use initiative. NAR has a program called the Land Use Initiative, LUI. We love our acronyms, right, Mike? And this offers free expert analysis to help our local associations tackle policy threats like transfer taxes, building moratoria, and other rental restrictions. Find out how to request a review, how to use these reports to influence local policy, and also hear how other associations are using these tools for their own success and the success of their members in those markets. South Carolina, I'm proud to say, uses these resources as much as any other state in the country. And that's because I don't like leaving things on the table. And NAR's LUI program is amazing. They give us a legal analysis, policy analysis, research and data that otherwise would cost us thousands and thousands of dollars. I believe each policy analysis they do for us is about a $12,000 to $15,000 member benefit each time it's used. So NAR is hosting a training session online, and this is for all local association leaders and our local association executives. Please register online today. Mike, I've got a link in the show notes today. If you could add it in the commentary, let folks know where to go. So I think that is the end of those were kind of the three things I wanted to cover this morning. I wanted to, it's been a minute since we've been able to get together, and you might have noticed, maybe not, that I've got my Gamecock colors on here today. Clemson, Carolina, we flirted with the top 10 there for a week. Still in the AP polls for both of us, which is pretty cool. How long we'll stay? Can we crack the top 10 again? It may be a long season. I don't know. But I know we've had a couple of good weeks of fun, interesting football. Maybe frustrating for some at times. I won't call out any particular orange-clad schools in that regard. But it's fun getting back into the fall and into all of the fun times that we have with family and friends across the state and across the country. These football rivalries are more than just sports, right? It's relationships, and that's what makes it so fun. Today, speaking of fun, I've got a Rode Wireless Go. This is their micro wireless microphones that you can plug into any USB-C phone, iPhone, whatever else is out there in the marketplace. And I'm gonna ship this out to one of our listeners today, who posts the reason why if you're on Facebook, post why you love your college football team, and best post, and this is strictly subjective. We'll randomly pick one, but tell us something about your favorite college team, and we will send you a pretty cool tool on how to create content on the go with you and your clients and your colleagues. So Rode Wireless Micro, $99 value, will be going out to one of our members this week. And before we wrap things up, I definitely want to give another shout out to our tech producer here, Michael Christ. Mike runs the show behind the scenes, really is the brains of the operation here. I'm just, I just do whatever he tells me. And it's pretty cool. Mike, thank you for all your efforts. And to everyone watching, have a fantastic week. Stay safe, stay realtor strong, and we will catch up again real soon. Take care, everyone.